I'm going to have fun with the family using your card." My husband suddenly called me, laughing gleefully as he said this. He seems to have taken only our daughter and son-in-law with him to Hawaii. I frantically checked my wallet, and indeed, my platinum card wasn't there. Even though Jason and I are part of the same family. We couldn't believe he left us out and went to Hawaii. On top of that, he took my card without permission. We've been married for many years, but I've grown tired of my husband's selfish actions. I wish he could understand how I feel, always being at the mercy of his thoughtlessness. Why would he do something like this without hesitation? If he wanted to go on a family trip, he should have just said so. Even though he talks about enjoying time with the entire family, he only takes his favorites. Our daughter and son-in-law, and he took my credit card just because he didn't have money. I couldn't believe my husband's nerve, acting so recklessly without any thought of how it looks to others. But now I don't care about his feelings anymore. There's no point in thinking about them. That's just the way he is. And he won't change. He doesn't even try to change. If he won't change, then he should regret it. He should regret not even trying to change. He should regret it and cry and apologize to me. Even if he apologizes, I have no intention of forgiving him. That's right. If he thinks I will always be obedient to him, he's gravely mistaken. I too have my limits. I too will fight back. Now let's see him fall into the abyss. My name is Sarah, and I'm 55 years old. I work for a major corporation. My husband is Michael, 57 years old. He's a stay-at-home husband, which is rare these days. We met at a group date. Back then, I was 28 and worked at the same company I work at now. I was good at my job and didn't have time for relationships, always busy with work. Even when one task ended, another would start. I didn't have the luxury to date or hang out with friends. I was lonely, but I never felt the need for a partner or friends. I found my job very fulfilling, and most importantly, I enjoyed it. I felt true to myself. That was until I turned 28. At 28, I noticed that most of my peers were married. Some even had children. At a class reunion, I was the only one single. Everyone else seemed so happy and radiant. I too was successful at work, but I envied them. I thought to myself, I can't go on like this. So I asked a single acquaintance to organize a group date. And that's where I met my husband, Michael. He wasn't attractive compared to the other men. He wasn't charming, rather he seemed empty. But I was drawn to him. He never boasted about his past or achievements. He simply said he loved housework and remained quiet. I wanted someone as calm as him. So I approached him, and we went on a few dates. On our fourth date, he confessed his feelings, and we were in a serious relationship. 2 years later, we married. But shortly after, his company went bankrupt. He was devastated. He didn't seem to have the energy to look for another job. So I suggested he become a stay-at-home husband. I earned more than Michael, and I believed that even if we had a child, my income alone would be enough to support us. He said he liked doing housework, so I thought he might feel a bit better by becoming a stay-at-home dad. Then Michael told me he had actually been wanting to be a stay-at-home dad. He said it was something he had hoped for, so he quickly became one. I believed that this was the best dynamic for our marriage and that from here on, our happy days would begin. However, things didn't go as planned. Not long after he became a stay-at-home dad, I became pregnant. I was very happy because I wanted to have children soon. but Michael did not seem very happy. "Hey, we're having a baby. Aren't you happy? It increases my responsibilities. I'll be at home during my maternity leave, so we can raise the child together, right?" Yeah, even though Michael was the one who said he wanted a child. I was quite shocked when he didn't seem happy about it. "Hey, you said you wanted this. Why aren't you happy?" I did say I wanted it, but I didn't think it would happen so quickly. He said only that and fell silent. When you're trying for a baby, it's normal for it to happen any time. If he didn't want it now, he should have just told me. But there was no point in discussing it further. A new life was growing inside me. I thought that when the baby grew up, Michael would eventually grow his affection. However, that was not the case. I wanted Michael to feel responsible as a father. So I always showed him the ultrasound pictures for my prenatal checkups. But he seemed disinterested. He would just say And when I was suffering from morning sickness, he didn't help at all. I'm holed up in the bathroom throwing up, and he says, "Are you still at it? Hurry up." Even if I asked for water because I couldn't move, he'd say, "Go get it yourself. Don't spoil yourself." I was devastated. I hadn't realized he could be so cruel. But the baby inside me grew rapidly, and soon I gave birth to a boy. We named him Jason. I planned to take maternity and childcare leave, expecting that Michael and I would raise him together. But Michael did not help with the child care at all. I begged him several times to at least change the diapers, but he'd only say, "I don't want to do that dirty job." And whenever the baby cried, he'd scream, "Quiet him down." I was not feeling well after giving birth and was quite stressed and tried to return to my parents' home. However, Michael would not even allow me to do so. Ever since our child was born, because I was home, Michael had given up on housework. If he didn't do it, it was left to me, and I had to drag my exhausted body to get it done. I guessed he didn't want to be burdened with housework, which is why he didn't want me to go to my parents' home. He had always said he liked housework, but now he seemed to hate it. I couldn't understand why. Out of options, I stayed and took care of everything by myself. I was in pain to the point of going crazy. But I managed to hang in there because I loved Jason so much that it didn't matter. The next year, I gave birth to a girl. Michael had said he wanted a daughter. I was against it, believing we couldn't manage with his attitude. Furthermore, just because he wanted a girl didn't guarantee one would be born. I figured he was going to take care of the baby if it was a girl, which is why I was against the idea. But Michael pleaded, saying even if it's a boy, he'd help with everything and also look after Jason. So I agreed. I safely gave birth to a girl, and we named her Jennifer. True to his word, Michael became active in housework and childcare. Jennifer was greatly cherished, as expected. However, he didn't care for Jason at all. He takes care of both, but obviously he treats our son and daughter differently. Furthermore, he spoiled Jennifer excessively. He wouldn't scold her even if she did something wrong, and he bought her anything she desired. Even when I asked Michael to stop since it was turning her into a spoiled child, he wouldn't listen. Then Jennifer stopped listening to me. Both of them grew up quickly, with Jason being 25 and Jennifer being 24. Jennifer got married soon after graduating from college and is now a housewife. Jennifer's husband is Brian. He works as a bartender and is always out having fun. Jennifer got into the bar during her college days and met Brian. To finance Brian, she asked Michael for a lot of money, and Michael, who dotes on his daughter, easily gave it to her. Even when warned not to give a college student so much money, Michael took money from his allowance and living expenses to give it to her. Then, Jennifer suddenly announced that she wanted to get married. Of course, I objected. It's not that I thought being a bartender was wrong, but I didn't believe a man who relied on Jennifer's financial support because of his unstable job could make her happy. But Jennifer wouldn't listen, and Michael supported her marriage. Ignoring my opinion, they went ahead and got married. On the other hand, Jason, whether because I raised him or because Michael didn't take much care of him, grew up to be the exact opposite of Jennifer. He hardly ever made selfish demands, went to a prestigious university, and grew up splendidly. He has graduated from college and is now working at a top-tier company. He occasionally comes home and shares stories about his work. However, it seemed that he wasn't fond of Michael and Jennifer, so he tried not to see them much. Neither Michael nor Jennifer tried to interact with Jason much. They're all adults now, and the children don't live together, so I wasn't too concerned. Then, one day, something unbelievable happened. That day, Michael was gone from the morning. It wasn't unusual for him to be gone in the morning. Suddenly, he would say he wanted to go on a trip, and by the next morning, he'd be gone somewhere on his own. If it's a trip within the range of his allowance, I wouldn't mind and let him go. So I thought this time too, it was another one of his trips. However, he usually mumbled about wanting to travel the day before. And this time there was none of that, so I was a little surprised. That day, I was off from work and was thinking about relaxing alone after a long time. Then, late that night, I suddenly received a call from Michael. "Hello, what's up? Hey, do you know where I am right now?" "I have no idea. You're on another trip, aren't you?" "This isn't just a regular trip," he said proudly. I did wonder where he had traveled to, but frankly, I didn't care much. I didn't want my rare day off ruined by Michael's pointless call and wanted to end the call quickly. So where are you?" "Hawaii. Cool, right?" "Hawaii, what?" I inadvertently raised my voice. I hadn't expected him to be abroad. After all, there's no way he could go overseas with just his allowance. What on earth was going on? "Wait, what do you mean Hawaii? How did you afford it?" "I used your credit card." "What?" Michael dropped a bombshell. For a moment, I was at a loss for words. Because Michael said he took my card from my wallet without my permission and used it. This is a crime. No matter if we're family or spouses, it doesn't mean you can use it without permission. Yet, he shows no remorse. It's as if he doesn't think stealing the card is wrong at all. His attitude was the most shocking. Frankly, I thought it was unbelievable. "Did you steal my card?" "Don't make it sound so bad. I just borrowed it, okay." "But you didn't ask for my permission, did you? You realize that's a crime, right?" "Don't be so uptight about these things. I'm just having a good time with the family using your card, haha." "Family? So it's not just him. He always goes on trips by himself. So I was curious. Who do you mean by family?" "Jennifer and Brian." I couldn't believe it. Taking only his favorite daughter and her husband to Hawaii. I don't mind being left behind. But why doesn't he think about Jason? Jason must want to go to Hawaii too. Even with his job, he should have at least been invited. But to Michael, it seems only the daughter and her husband are his real family. It seems he doesn't care about Jason and me. I couldn't stand it. That's why I decided to teach Michael a lesson. "Thanks to your card, I'm really enjoying myself." "Ha, I just canceled that card, you know?" "What?" "Yes, in fact, when I woke up this morning, I realized my card was missing from my wallet. Since I rarely use it, I couldn't have misplaced it. So I suspected Michael took it. He has been using my card to shop without my knowledge in the past. He probably thought he wouldn't get caught since I don't use it. I was aware of it, but I decided to let it slide to get back at him someday. In other words, I knew the card was missing when he called. If he showed even a hint of remorse, I might have let it slide and pretended I hadn't noticed. But I never imagined he'd take it to Hawaii. I didn't want a huge bill from his vacation, so I just canceled the card. I could have just blocked it, but I decided to get a new one to ensure he can't use it anymore. What do you mean you canceled it? Exactly what I said. You can't use that card anymore. What the hell? How are we supposed to live for the next week? We aren't coming back for another week. That's not my problem. Figure it out yourself. Then I heard Jennifer and Brian arguing in the background. Please, just until we get back. What the hell? You said your dad would pay for everything, right? But my mom canceled the card. I'll pay you back when we return. It seems Jennifer was trying to convince Brian to cover their expenses until they return. Jennifer, you don't have to do that, okay? I'll handle it. It's impossible. Forget it. You're useless, Dad. I hate you. Prop. Having his beloved daughter say she hates him left Michael speechless. I felt no obligation to listen to their quarrel, so I hung up. He brought it upon himself. It's his fault for stealing and using someone else's card. A week later, the three of them returned home safely. Jennifer apparently asked Brian to cover all the travel expenses, and they somehow managed. They must have been living frugally because the three of them looked thinner when they returned. Hey, you, apologize to us first. As soon as they returned, Michael yelled angrily. Exactly. Because of you, we went through so much trouble. It was unbelievable. I can't believe I am being blamed so much for something I did not do anything wrong. It's Michael's fault for stealing someone's card. Why? I haven't done anything wrong. Because you made the card unusable. We couldn't enjoy it at all in Hawaii. It's your father who stole the card who's at fault, right? Stop blaming others. How shameful of a mother to show such a side to a daughter. I was so dumbfounded that I couldn't speak. I thought he must be either really dumb or something seriously wrong with him. Making such statements, there's definitely something off about him. Maybe he hit his head in Hawaii. I don't want to be involved anymore, so I'll break up with Jennifer. What? Why? Look, it's bothersome. I thought you had money, but it's your dad's, right? I don't need that. That's so mean. It's okay even if it's my dad's money, right? Jennifer got hysterical due to the sudden turn of events. But I understood what Brian was trying to say. If I were in his position, I wouldn't want to deal with it anymore. And I wouldn't want to be with a woman who's living off her father's allowance. No, it's just, no. Earn for yourself. You've been living off your parents forever. I can't be with a woman who isn't independent. I'm done. Jennifer, bring the divorce papers later. Saying that, Brian tried to leave the house. Wait, hold on. Please listen to me. Jennifer hurriedly chased after him, but he didn't look back and left the house. Jennifer stared tremblingly at his retreating figure. And then, angrily, she walked up to Michael. It's all your fault. Because of you, Brian left. I'll cut ties with you. Goodbye. Saying that, Jennifer also stormed out of the house. Wait. Jennifer, I'll give you a lot of money, please. Michael collapsed weakly on the spot. He probably never imagined being disowned by Jennifer. He was visibly shocked and sat motionless. To further push Michael, I presented the divorce papers in front of him. "What? Please divorce me." Why all of a sudden? It's not sudden. I can't bear your actions as a husband and father anymore. Let's part ways. Michael was in disbelief, staring at the divorce papers. He probably never imagined getting divorced. I didn't even think I'd end up divorcing him. But when I told Jason about Michael stealing the card, he said, "Mom, maybe you've been enduring for our sake, thinking it's better for us to have a father. But we're adults now, and it doesn't bother us. If you want to get divorced, then do it." With those words from Jason, I realized that deep down, I had always wanted to divorce. I believe I've wanted this since I was pregnant with him. But I didn't want to have a pitiable child without a father, so I tried hard. But now both of them are grown and can manage without their father. That's why I decided to divorce. Michael clung to me with tears streaming down his face. "Please, I beg you, spare me from divorce. If there's anything you want me to fix, I'll fix everything. What are you saying now? It's too late. You've been nothing but cruel to me. But I can't work in society at this age. Please, I'm begging you, don't abandon me. Wasn't it you who said you didn't want to work? You've neglected household chores and childcare, pushing responsibility onto me. I don't want to take care of someone like that." With that said, it seemed he realized it was hopeless. He fell silent, giving in. And then he willingly signed the divorce papers. I submitted the divorce papers to the office, and we were finally able to divorce. Michael was kicked out of the house, seemingly wandering around aimlessly. He seemed to have reached out to Jennifer and Jason, but both seemed to be ignoring him. To make a living, Michael took on multiple part-time jobs, working from morning till night. Since he hadn't worked seriously up to this age, he's struggling to find a full-time position and is barely making ends meet. The last time I saw him in the city, he looked extremely gaunt and exhausted. However, I didn't think of helping him for even a moment. It's all his own doing. He had an easy life until now, so he deserves to struggle. As for Jennifer, she was abandoned by Brian and divorced. And she too seems to be wandering aimlessly. Desperate after being dumped by Brian, she didn't work and apparently has no money. She seems to have retained her habit of giving money to men, and has been begging me and Jason for money. However, both Jason and I have hardened our hearts after this incident, and have resolved not to give Jennifer a single dollar. If we give her money now, she'll become like Michael. Jennifer, spoiled rotten by Michael, likely has a hard road ahead. This is my responsibility too. That's why I want to toughen her up now. On the other hand, I quit my job soon after the divorce. I really enjoyed my work, but I thought I should take a break. My long-standing concern, Michael, is gone, and both my children are grown. I might still have to help Jennifer, but other than that, I thought I didn't need to work so hard anymore. I supported the family as the main breadwinner while raising 2 kids and dealing with such a husband. From now on, I plan to enjoy my remaining years. There are so many things I've held back from doing and places I want to go. This is the beginning of another chapter in my life. And Jason's work seems to have settled down a bit, so he visits me more frequently. He apparently has a girlfriend and is thinking of marriage, and he introduced her to me. She's beautiful and kind, and I felt she's the right person for Jason. We've decided to go on a trip together. I'm really looking forward to the trip after a long time, and I'm excited like a child. I'd love to have a leisurely drink with my beloved son. And I also look forward to spending time with my future daughter-in-law. I want to cherish my own time from now on and live the way I want.